Hello again, FM guys and girls. We're back with another tactic test video. We've done Chelsea so far. We had some good success with that. We got third place finish. We got 38 goals out of Aubameyang, when we got 16 assists out of Reece James, and we got some good performances out of most of the squad with that one. Today we're doing Leeds United, so we're going to have a look at their squad. We're going to set up a tactic. We're going to simulate for a season and see how it gets on. So welcome. Hope you enjoy, and let's get cracking. So as we take over as Leeds manager, the first thing we do is look at the club vision and see what the board are expecting. So do we need to take anything into account here when we're looking at setting up our tactic? Now, we absolutely do. With Leeds, it is important to our board that they want to see us playing attacking football. They want to see us playing entertaining football. The fans come here to be entertained. We don't want to be sitting back. We're not setting up defensive. We are going to be looking at an attacking formation to suit the board. With regards to the supporters, they want exactly the same thing: entertaining, attacking football, be competitive against Chelsea, be competitive against Man United. That will be out of our control as we'll be simming the season, but the target really is just become an established Premier League team. So we're not expected to pull up any trees. As a company, as a football club, we are fully expected this year to finish 10th. So we're very much seen as mid-table. Personally, I think that's ambitious for Leeds with the squad they've got available, but that's the aim. That's what we're doing. That's what we're going to look at a tactic to try and achieve, is get at least a 10th place finish. So before we go into the tactic, we're going to go into our staff and we're going to look at the quality of our assistant manager first of all. The main reason being is I do use my assistant managers experience and guidance when setting up the base form of a tactic. So I want to see if he actually knows what he's talking about. So Franz Scheimer, he's got half decent player ability and potential judging, which is what I'm looking for. So when I'm looking at his star ratings, is he going to be spot on? Can we take it with a pinch of salt? To a certain extent, he's going to be pretty accurate relatively, but with these Premier League teams, a lot of the time we know a lot of the players anyway. We've got a lot of players at our disposal to go through. Yes, a number of them are out on loan, but we do have a number. Now, what I like to do to start is set up a base, as I said before. So I go into my tactics screen and I look at what my assistant is suggesting for the players that we've got in the squad. So he's saying control possession, a gegenpress, or a vertical tiki-taka. Now, with two of these formations, what we see straight away is that we've got high pressing, high intensity pressing on two of these. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back to my squad, and you'll see some things popping up in these videos that are pretty common for what I do. But the first thing I want to do is have a look at the mental attributes of my team and see if there's a high work rate in this squad. I can see relatively high work rate across most of the team, and I can see names that are popping up here that are going to play for me. These players are going to play. These players are going to be in my team. So with respect to that, yes, a high pressing, I'm quite happy to play that. It fits with the attacking, entertaining style of football that the fans and board are looking for as well. So in general, I'm quite happy to play that sort of game. Then it really comes down to, do I just want to be press all the way up the pitch as high as we can, or do I actually want to dominate some possession? Now, from a point of view of, we want to be playing entertaining football, so we want to be trying to dominate possession. We'll press with that work rate that we've got, but we're going to have like an emphasis on getting the ball forward, creating chances. So the vertical tiki-taka is spot on for what we're trying to achieve. Initially, then I'll look at the initial formations of what's suggested. He's saying, my assistant manager's initially saying a 4-4-3 defense with a defensive midfielder. I prefer to call this a 4-1-2-3. He's looking at a 4-2-3-1 with two defensive midfielders, or he's looking at a diamond narrow. Now, when I look at our squad, one thing that I will see if I sort the players by position is that we've got a number of players, although two of them are out on loan, but we've got a few players here that are wide winger type players, so we're not going to be wanting to play narrow. Jack Harrison's one of the better attacking players in the squad. He's a wide midfielder. Somerville, who's pulling up trees in real life, although his stats aren't great, he's likely to come off the bench throughout this season and offer some pace and flair. He's a winger, so we do probably want to be incorporating that into our game. Initially, Rodrigo's possibly going to be, although he's officially a striker, Bamford's probably going to play that role. So I'm already thinking about where players are going to fit in and which formation from what's suggested is going to suit. So going back to that vertical tiki-taka, we're going to pick that and we're going to start off with the 4-3-3 DM wide, the 4-1-2-3. That's our initial setup to start with. So we're going to start with that. We're not going to touch anything here just yet. We're going to go in and start filling some of these positions. So first of all, Meslier, he is by far and away the best keeper in this squad. We know that. We can see that on ability anyway, but we know from real life that Meslier is straight in. No mucking about there. We can also see here, if we sort by ability, we can start filling gaps with our best players. So what I'm going to do for the terms of this tactic test is look at the injuries, and I am going to build a squad around players that I want to play, because when we go on holiday, we're going to set the assistant to play my tactics with the suggested team whenever possible. So there's no point in putting Stuart Dallas in because he's out for 8 months. He's going to miss most of the season anyway, so we won't work him in. Junior Firpo is out for 2 to 3 months. We'll probably work him in if he's going to be the first choice left back. And Louis Sinistera, he's going in the team because he is only actually injured for 3 days, so we know he's going to be pretty much available immediately. So straight away, Sinistera is going in the team because he's officially one of the best players in this squad. He's an inside forward that plays from the left side. He's right-footed. We're going to fill that gap with him straight away. Now there's going to be a bit of a crossover here because Jack Harrison is also able to play that position. However, luckily for me, he can play down the right. He's predominantly left-footed, so again, he's going to be the wide midfielder on the right side. One thing we are going to struggle with this Leeds side, and if I was actually managing them for the season, the first thing I'd be looking to do is use some of this £25 million budget that we've got to buy another winger. One thing that's going to affect this save, with the fact that we're simming it, is if either of these two get injured, the players that are available to come in for them are not of the required standard for Premier League. So keeping these two fit is going to be absolutely crucial to how good a season we actually have. Now, with regards to Tyler Adams, he is again rated as one of the best players in the squad. We know that from real life as well, so he's going straight in. His best position is either the defensive midfield role or the central midfield role. Now, for a defensive player, I'd probably want slightly higher tackling at Premier League level, but he's a bit more of an all-rounder. He's got a good work rate. I'm going to put him, Tyler Adams, initially, I'm going to put him into one of the central midfield roles, but again, things like this could change as we go on to the squad page in a second. But Tyler Adams is in. Mark Roker's going straight in. Now, he is, again, better passer of the ball. Tackling isn't as good as Tyler Adams, so their roles could change. They could switch around, but again, Roker's definitely going to be in that midfield trio in one of the roles, so we're just going to pop him in for a minute. And then up front, I've got a decision to make. Do I play Rodrigo? Do I want someone that's a bit pacier, 16 for acceleration, 15 for pace, can drop in as a good passer of the ball, 6 foot, not as strong as you'd like for a big striker, but quite quick. Heading isn't great, so he's not going to score many headed goals. And then we've got Bamford, who is a slightly better header of the ball, not quite as quick, higher work rate, bit more of a pressing forward from the front. Finishing 16 for him, composure's 11. So Bamford, although he can finish, might squander a few chances just by being under pressure. Rodrigo's finishing is worse, but he can composure's better. So it's a really difficult one to choose. And again, if I was managing them throughout the season, I'd rotate the two and I'd see who fits better. But we're looking at just setting something up to go from the very start. So we're going to go with Bamford. It's just a personal. You might fancy Rodrigo a little bit more. I'm going to go with Bamford. I think my assistant will play both throughout the season anyway. Whenever Bamford's injured, Rodrigo's going to be the natural stand-in. Whenever Bamford needs to be subbed off, Rodrigo's going to be the guy that comes on. We're then coming away from our 4.5 star and we're down to 3.5 star rated players, and we're down to our 3 stars. So initially we've got a few of the key roles filled, and predominantly it's all of our attacking players. It's looking at our attacking setup is done, which is good. That's where it's good for me to see that that's where our strength is, because the board and the fans want to see us playing attacking, entertaining football. So the fact that we're strongest in that area is ticking that box for me. Now Pascal, I think it's Pascal Streak. He's going straight in as a centre-back because he's the best centre-back that we've got, without a doubt. He's left-footed as well, which is always a bonus because they're few and far between sometimes. So we've got our left-sided centre-back covered. And then we're looking at choosing between Diego Llorente and Robin Koch. So from a point of view of Koch, I want to see, because we're going to be playing a high line with this team to push up, play relentless pressing, we're going to be looking at attacking football. I want to see pacey centre-backs that are not going to get caught out. So that could be the defining factor here. So Robin Koch is 13 for acceleration, 15 for pace. His positioning as well is important if we're going to be playing... That's the wrong player. Yeah, his positioning is going to be important as well if we're going to be... playing a high line. So positioning is 14, and Llorente is 12 and 15 for acceleration and pace. Positioning 13. They're pretty much, they're not far off each other, to be fair. Llorente is a better passer of the ball with better vision. He's got 15 tackling. Koch, again, he's not bad as a ball player, but it's looking like Llorente's slightly the better of the two. Put him in as centre-back. That's our centre-back pairing done. Again, he's good right foot, so he fits that side as well, which is good. So now we're looking at Adam Forshaw as our defensive midfielder. Again, he's got an injury, but it's only for a few days. He is going to cover the 2 positions, potentially one of these 2 positions, but initially he is... not the best at tackling, so I'm going to put him in because he is going to be in that midfield trio, but he probably won't play that role. I am going to be... So Tyler Adams, I first looked at, I said I wanted to play him as a more attacking central midfielder. However, it's looking likely that he's probably our best option for the defensive role, but we'll come back to that in a second. We're then going to fill in the fullbacks, which is actually one of the weakest areas of the team, which is a bit of a shame for this team, because... As an entertaining brand of football, you generally want your wingers bombing on forward and getting forward. Now, Junior Firpo's initially injured, but he is going to be the first choice left back, so he's going into our squad and being set up as part of our tactic, and hopefully within sort of 2 to 3 months. Bearing in mind, a month for that is going to be pre-season anyway, and then it's then between Luke Ayling, who's out for up to 2 months, or Rasmus Christensen. Down the right fullback. Now, again, from my perspective, I want attacking players, so I want high work rate, I want good crossing, half decent dribbling, and Rasmus Christensen's looking good in that area. Luke Ayling, not so much. Good work rate, not as good in attacking, so we're definitely favouring Christensen straight away, and that should be, if I'm right, that's our team filled. So we've now filled the squad. Now it's about picking the best players in the best roles. So the back 4 have picked themselves. That's fine. Keeper picks himself. We've got these front 3 I'm happy with. It's just going to be about setting roles. It's this midfield trio that I just need to address. So straight away we saw... in the defensive role, naturally you want your best tackler. You want your strongest player, your best tackler. And that is Tyler Adams is 14 for tackling. Anticipation is 14, positioning is 14, Rocker is 13 for tackling, positioning 13, anticipation 15. Again, it's going to be one of those 2. So then what I'll do is I'll probably look at which one of them is the least effective going forward and drop that player in. So Rocker, passing 16, vision 15, and Adams... passing 14, vision 13. So it's looking like Tyler Adams is dropping in there because we want to be utilising Rocker's passing and vision ability. Forshaw then comes up as well, so he's then into one of these central midfielders, and he's more of an attacking midfielder anyway. So that's the 3 roles then sorted. What we're then going to do is look at our keeper. So we're going to be playing a high line, so I want to play a sweeper keeper. Just comes down to whether it's defensive support or attack as to what his ability on the ball is. His passing's 11, his vision's 10. He's not going to be pulling out fantastic passes. We're just going to have him on a defensive function, just playing it simple. He'll do his job. He'll venture out when he needs to. He'll come out, he won't just sit on his line, so he should support the defence, but he's not going to try anything too fancy. With regards to these two up on this attacking midfield roles, they're going to be inside players, so they're going to be cutting in, which means we want width coming from the fullbacks, so they're going to be playing as wing backs. The wing back function obviously tells us straight away that we want usually playing out wide with no wing support. They're not going to be getting any wing support, they are going to be the main player there, and then it comes down to how attacking I want them to be. Now I want them to be very attacking. We've been asked to set up an attacking formation, so both of them are going on attacking fullbacks, attacking wing backs. Their aim is to get right up the pitch. Based on that, we don't want Tyler Adams straying too far forward, because we want him to be covering, we want him to be good. So absolutely he's got to be on a defensive function. He's got a very high work rate. His anticipation is good. He's an aggressive player. He's a decent tackler. We want him winning that ball back. So we want him on a ball winner in defensive midfield. He's going to sit in this hole. He's going to win the ball back from the attacking midfielders from the opposition. He'll go out. He'll cover these wings. From that perspective, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about pushing the fullbacks on because we've got a sufficient cover. With regards to the two centre-backs, we'll look at their passing ability to see, because ultimately, yes, they could play it into Adams, but at the same time with these wingers bombing on, it's not the worst thing in the world to have these two as ball players, because they can play the ball forward and effectively start counter-attacks quite quickly, if they've got the ability to do so. So Strike is passing 13, vision 13. He's got ball playing defender written all over him. Lorente, again, 14 and 14, both ball playing defenders. Absolutely more than happy with that. Don't like to put my I'm not a lover of the stopper and cover personally. It can work in certain situations, but when I'm just playing a flat back four and two at the back, I'm quite happy to just play them as standard defensive rather than stopper and cover. We're playing a high line, it's going to be offside trap. I'm going to be asking this team to step up more, so I don't want one of them covering and ruining that offside trap as well. With regards to the central midfielders, we have a look at Roca. Now Roca, passing is fantastic. He's a good passer. He's possibly one of the best passers in the team. He isn't the greatest dribbler though, so I want him pushing on, but I don't want him dribbling with the ball. So the perfect role for him is going to be as an advanced playmaker, but not on attack, because attack encourages the player. You'll see down there in the instructions, take more risks, dribble more, and shoot less often. If we drop him onto support, you lose the dribble more. So we're just playing to his best ability. He doesn't like to dribble. He's not the greatest dribbler. He comes deep to get the ball as well. So hopefully he'll he's not going to be looking to get that ball and drive it forward and lose it, because he's not a great dribbler. He's just going to sit in these holes and hopefully spray passes around. But what we do want then is Forshaw to be kicking on a little bit more and supporting that. Supporting those front men, the front three. So effectively he will get into the box and make it a front four, with Roca having plenty of options to pass the ball around. I keep saying Roca, I do think it's Roca, I'm not sure. But with Forshaw's stats, he's a decent passer of the ball. He's not the worst dribbler in the world. He makes good decisions though, so he should be able to make good decisions about when he gets forward. We're going to put him on a central midfielder as attack. I'm going to come into individual roles slightly in a minute, but I will set him while we're on him. So get further forward he's going to do. We've already seen that he's a good passer, so I want him to take more risks as well. I want to use that passing ability a bit like a playmaker, but without getting him to play the playmaker role. His dribbling isn't terrible, but his finishing is. So we're going to tell him that we don't want him getting up there and shooting a lot. I want him to support the play. I want him to give options. And as he gets forward, he'll probably open up space for these three. And people will, hopefully, as he pushes on, the centre-backs will come out to mark him, which will open up space for these two wide players running in. Roca will then be able to play the pass that is on. It should create options. With regards to Sinistera, we know that he's more suited to inside forward. He's a good finisher, which is what you're looking for from an inside forward. He's got plenty of flair. We absolutely want him cutting in and getting involved. We're going to be playing him on attack as well. Like I said, we're setting up an attacking formation here, guys, so don't be too worried about the amount of players that we have on attack. I'm not concerned about that at all. If I'm playing an attacking formation, I'm quite happy to have 5 or 6 players on an attacking mentality. Leeds, we know Leeds as well. We know that their fans are quite happy to go and see them win 5-3 rather than win 1-0. So in that respect, we want to play that entertaining football. Yes, I think this tactic is going to concede goals, but I think we'll score a lot as well. I'm not going to set Harrison to an inside forward as well. The reason being, his finishing isn't as good, but as well, it just offers something a little bit different at this level, to have different players on different mentalities on either wing offers something different to have an inverted winger and an inside forward, so making different types of runs, and just gives the opposition a little bit more to think about. Now, what we do have is, because we have Sinistera coming in on attack, we have him. We don't need to have Bamford on attack, and what we really do there is just set him to what suits him best. So he's absolutely a pressing forward. We know that because his work rate is so high, 18. He's an aggressive striker. His anticipation is good, so he should be able to cut passing lanes quite well as a front man. And we want to look at him, and we want to sort of have a look at the pressing forward. Do I want him on defend? No, because I don't want him shooting less. He's my main striker. Do I want him on support? Now, that really comes down to whether I want him holding up the ball or moving into the channels. Attack is moving to channels, holding up the ball. So really that comes down to his strength, his ability to hold it up, and his pace. He's got more pace than strength. Although he's a big lad at 6'1", he's decent size. I want him on attack, so I want him running into these spaces, offering more outlets to Roca, supporting the wing backs, and then allowing these inside forwards, inside wingers to overlap. So that's fine. We're not going to change any of his initial stats. I don't think his dribbling is terrible. No, it's not. I'm quite happy with that. His passing is okay, so I don't really want to restrict him in anything he's doing. With regards to Sinistera, again, we go on to his individuals. Dribbling is very good, but he's already set to do that anyway in the role. His shooting is not bad. Again, I don't want to restrict him in anything he's doing. Quite happy with him. Harrison's, again, he doesn't really have huge weaknesses that I can pinpoint in his individual stats. His concentration and decision making isn't the greatest. His heading isn't the greatest, but that isn't really going to affect anything from a perspective of what I'm asking him to do. So he's not going to change. He's going to stay where he is in that respect. Roca, shoot less often and take more risks. Exactly what an advanced playmaker's asked to do. Dribbling, I'm not going to ask him to dribble it out. The reason being, he's not great at it, but also I've got Forshaw dribbling. I'm going to be setting Forshaw to get more forward. He's going to be dribbling a little bit more. Although I don't have him set to do it more often, he's going to do it naturally in that role. I'm also going to have these guys dribbling out wide. So they're not set to it on the attacking. It's run wide with ball, cross from byline. However, Christensen is half decent dribbler with the ball, and I do want him running forward. I want him carrying it out of defence, getting forward. Their passing ability isn't the worst, but I don't want them getting up there and shooting, so we're going to put them on shooting less. And the same for the other side. Dribble more, shoot less. So my wing backs on either side should be mimicking each other, should be piling forward, bringing the ball out of defence, running down that wing, and causing absolute havoc, to be fair. Adams is already set to everything I want him doing as a ball winner in defensive midfield. Hold his position, take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot less often. Everything is pretty much set up as I want it to be individually. So out of possession on our stats, what do we want? We want to be pressing high, and we want to play much higher defensive line. No, we're going to just play higher, not much higher, because we're not playing gegenpress here, remember, but we are pressing. We're going to be on more often rather than much more often. I don't want to get caught out, and I don't want, because again, I would probably change that depending on the game. I'd probably go much more often if I was playing stronger opposition, if I was managing them throughout the season. But we're just going to keep it on more often, try and preserve some stamina and make sure we can last a full 90 minutes. With regards to get stuck in, you will have seen me do this on the Chelsea video, but what I like to do is go to the squad, have a look at the players, and see again. We look at our mental attributes and we see how aggressive, aggressive, there it is, and see how aggressive our team is from the start. As we can see, we've got a relatively aggressive team, probably aggressive enough. The forward players aren't, but we don't need them to be. But everywhere else, we're pretty much covered. So I'm quite happy with the aggression. I don't need to be getting stuck in and encouraging cards because we've got the aggression we need. If the aggression stats are low, I'll generally get stuck in to encourage that a little bit more. I do want this defence stepping up though, so I do want them stepping up and playing an offside trap because I think we've got the players to do it that are pacey and decent positioning. But we're not going to be worrying about too much about trapping inside, trapping outside, stopping crosses or inviting crosses. We're going to leave that as is. So in transition, counter press and counter, bang on for exactly the sort of football we want to be playing. We want to be on the opposition. Distribute to centre backs. We do want to be playing out from the back. And we know we've got two centre backs that can pass the ball very well. So we're going to be keeping that all on that. And then with regards to the in-possession stats, I want to be playing short, passing, keeping the ball. I want to play narrow. These wingers are going to give me my width anyway. These fullbacks, these wing-backs. These guys we want cutting in anyway and supporting. We want to play narrow football. That's fine. I'm more than happy with that. Playing through the middle as well. Reason being for that, these guys are going to cut inside and be in the middle. And all my best passers are here in this 5. My 2 centre-backs, these are all my best passers of the ball. This is where the creativity is coming from. So I want to focus to play down through the middle. I'm happy with that as well. And playing out of defence, we know we've already looked. We know we've got the ability there. Not much is changing here, to be fair, guys. Because we're playing short, quick passing, I don't want to be passing into space. I don't want to be encouraging players to run. I want to be playing to feet. I want to be playing a quick passing game. Dribble less and run at defence. I've set up the individuals you will have seen as to where I want people dribbling and not. So I don't really need to worry about this and come away from that because I've given it individual instructions to do it. And then tempo. It's Premiership football. Although for tiki-taka, slightly lower is generally preferred, I'm going to play slightly higher because that is Premier League football. Higher paced, quick passing. We're playing counter-attack as well, so I don't want to be starting a counter-attack and then slowing the pace down. I want to keep the pace up. I'm going to take Be More Expressive off. Now, the main reason for that is that in attack, these players are good, but they're not world class. These are not world class attacking players, so they don't have amazing flair. They don't offer huge creativity. They're not going to be the most skillful. So I don't want to restrict them by saying be more disciplined, but at the same time I don't want them coming out of position too much. I want them to focus on what they do well. We are going to work the ball into the box though with our quick counter-attacking football. And with regards to Bamford, we're going to play whipped crosses. Low crosses. He's relatively quick. Yes, he can head, but I want him nipping in front. And obviously the low crosses as well will be more suitable for my attacking wingers that will be getting into the box as well. We're not going to play for set pieces because that's not our football. But I'm quite happy with the way this is all set up. With regards to the balanced mentality, we are going to go on attacking. We're going to take the risk. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players on attacking duty. We're going to go with the board, and the supporters want to see us playing attacking, entertaining football. So that's exactly what we're going to give them. So that's set up. We're going to go on holiday now for a year, for the whole season. We are going to tell our assistant to use current match tactics and use current team selection where possible. So we'll be on holiday. We'll come back at the end of the season and see just how our tactic has performed. So the season is now finished. It's not been a huge success. It's not been a huge failure. In fact, we finished exactly 10th, which is exactly where we were predicted to finish. 15 wins, 6 draws, 17 defeats. 49 goals scored, 54 conceded. I'll be honest, I expected to concede this many. I didn't expect to only score this many. This bit is disappointing. Although it's extremely impressive that we managed to bang 7 past Chelsea in 2 games. I'm assuming we must have won both of those. So a -5 goal difference, 51 points, 6 points away from European qualification. Now, I sim through these seasons. I don't watch it. I just let it go and come back at the end of the year. If I'd have managed this season, I would like to think I would have picked up those extra 6 points. I would like to think that if you're using this tactic and managing this team, you would do better than 51 points. You would probably hold on to wins. You probably wouldn't concede so many goals. But what we're going to do, even though this hasn't been a huge success, it's still worth looking at, because if you're using Leeds, you might be able to use this tactic as a baseline, as somewhere to start, and you can see how it works with certain players, what did work, what didn't work, and hopefully identify the players that you need to sign at the start of the season with that 25 million that Leeds start with. So initially, let's look first of all, in the average rating stats, we have not a single player on the screen, so nobody was up there amongst the best players in the league. With regards to goals, again, we don't have a single player, so our strikers obviously didn't have the greatest of seasons. With regards to assists, do we have anyone featuring here at all? No, we don't. So it looks like we had no outstanding players for the whole season. Man of the match awards, Jack Harrison managed to get 4. Now, straight away I can actually see it. Jack Harrison only played 21 games, which is surprising because he was in my starting lineup. So I'm guessing Jack Harrison picked up an injury this season. He actually had a couple, but a big one. At the start of the season, 7th of July, so in pre-season, in a match against Hearts, he was tackled and was out for 6 months. So that wasn't ideal. I did say at the start of this video when I looked at the squad that if you lost Jack Harrison on the right or Sinistera on the left, you would be creek without a paddle, to be fair, because the backup players to come in simply weren't good enough. They simply weren't there. The numbers weren't there. The quality wasn't there. So losing Harrison for 6 months would have had a major impact on Leeds' season as well. So we have to take that into account by the fact that we finished 10th. But we'll have a look at the overall performance and see who did well. So with regards to average rating, initially our best player on average rating, when we look at, Sam Greenwood, the youngster, 21 years old, made 6 appearances off the bench, got an assist. He seemed to do okay. And to be fair, if I'd have been managing the side, I probably, with that sort of form and managing a 7.2 rating with 6 games off the bench, I would have given him more game time. Probably would have tried him out a little bit more. Jack Harrison, it does go to show just how important it was to lose him for that first half of the season. 5 goals, 5 assists, 19 clear-cut chances created in 24 games, and he was officially the best player in the team. So it just goes to show he was hugely, sorely missed in that first half, and our season would have been different with him. He played on an inside winger support, coming in from the right side, no extra duties on his instructions, so that role as a whole seems to suit Jack Harrison down to the ground. So worth bearing that in mind if you're starting with Leeds or if you're looking to buy Jack Harrison for your team. The second best player we had was Junior Firpo, who played 37 times at left back. Now, although he played well, 7.02 average rating, that's good. He only got 2 goals and 1 assist, which when you've actually got a fullback, a wingback on attacking, I would have liked to have seen more. So I would say defensively, he's obviously done well. He's obviously done well with passing. He's had good games because he's recorded a solid average rating, but he hasn't had any impact in the final third. Worth bearing in mind if you're using him, or again if you're looking to buy him for your team. With regards to goals, Patrick Bamford was the top goal scorer with only 12. Sinistera managed 9. Adam Forshaw from central midfield, in that central midfield attacking position, managed 9 goals. That's quite impressive for him, for a player that is only rated 3 stars by the assistant manager. Probably for most sides he's going to struggle to get in most Premier League teams. That's a decent return. So sticking Adam Forshaw on a central midfield role with attack, and his individual instructions were take more risks and shoot less often. Effectively, that worked for him. He had a good season. We got a decent season out of Adam Forshaw and a good return with 9 goals and 5 assists. Rodrigo played 19 games, 22 as a sub, managed 8 goals. Looking in hindsight, at the start of the season, I looked at Rodrigo and I looked at Bamford. I opted for Bamford as my main man. I'm guessing that most of these starts for Rodrigo are probably at right wing when Jack Harrison was out. That would make sense to put him in there. He is naturally a striker, and the fact that he scored 8 goals and the fact that he had a good average rating of 6.95, considering 22 appearances of his were from the bench, I would probably replay this season and play Rodrigo up front instead of Bamford. So if I was managing Leeds, that's one change I would definitely make. I'd probably sell Bamford. Not really good enough. 12 goals, 4 assists, 39 games, only recorded an average rating of 6.76. And I played him as well in his favoured role of pressing forward on attack. He should definitely have done better, especially with us playing attacking football. Not really good enough. My advice, sell Bamford. Sorry to you Leeds fans out there that might love him, but you might be able to rake in somewhere between 12 and 18 million for this guy at a push. Even if you're only bagging 10 million is probably going to go out there and buy you maybe a little Brazilian wonder kid that can do better or something. So I would be getting rid of and playing Rodrigo if I played him. Most disappointing throughout the season, if we just look at the assists quickly, we'll see where our most creative came from. Mark Roker, as expected, he was playing the playmaker role. He got 8 assists. He didn't have the greatest of seasons, but he was okay. 5 goals, 8 assists, 6.9. Yeah, not the worst, not outstanding. The biggest sort of disappointments of the season, I would say, looking at players that played regularly, 42 appearances for Diego Llorente. He did not play well. 6.73. I'm guessing he was at fault for quite a lot of the goals that we conceded. And to be fair, his centre-back pairing as well of Pascal Strike, he was 6.74. So the 2 centre-backs were the worst 2 players in the team. Quite disappointing. Maybe, again, I played them both on ball-playing defenders. Now, they have both got the attributes to do that. Maybe just set them as centre-backs. Put them as centre-backs, standard centre-backs, central defenders, not as ball players. Maybe that didn't work. Maybe it didn't work in this formation. But the centre-back pairing were easily the worst players in this team. With regards to that, we've sort of had a look at the team. We've seen what worked, what didn't. In general, most of the players had a bog standard season. Nobody really wowed. No, apart from the 2 central defenders, nobody was extremely disappointing. But with regards to the club vision, we still satisfied the board. The board were on an A-. They're delighted with the leadership qualities that I'm showing, apparently, even though I've just left everything to the assistant all year. But to be fair, we've met all of the expectations. We've become an established Premier League team with a 10th place finished. We were competitive in the FA Cup apparently, and we were competitive in the Carabao Cup as well. But they're happy. The supporters, A+, they're delighted. To be fair, they just wanted us to remain in the Premier League. They're extremely pleased that we were competitive against Chelsea, devastated that we were poor against Man United, but I'm sure that can be forgiven, as it seems to have been, by the fact that they were still rated an A+. With regards to results, FA Cup, we made the 4th round, knocked out by Liverpool. No shame in that at all. Bit disappointed to go out to Wolves in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. So there was no decent cup runs. And it looks like, to be fair, we started the season in fine form. We had a 5-match winning run, including a cup game in there against Leicester. But beating Everton 1-0, beating Leicester 3-1, Wolves 1-0, Tottenham 1-0. That's a really good result there. So it seemed like it was all going well. And then all of a sudden, things dropped off. A 4-match unbeaten run there. Granted, we did play Arsenal and Manchester United in that run. A big win against Chelsea where we hammered home 5 goals. Adam Forshaw with a hat-trick. A 3-0 win over Villa. Then another 5-game run where we lost 5 in a row. And there was definitely games there where we should have picked up points. Home to Wolves, away to Southampton. I would have expected us to get something. It was really disappointing there. We just couldn't create anything. We didn't score. Scored 1 goal in 5 games, and weirdly enough, that was against the best team in that run. Away for the break, a few friendlies, and then we came back and we started 2023 really poorly as well. So yeah, again, difficult runs, but nothing against Liverpool. A point against Arsenal. Nothing against West Ham. Liverpool again knocked us out of the cup. February was a decent run, 4 wins out of 5, including another win over Chelsea. A big victory over Liverpool there, so that was a big result. Sinistera looks like he was having it a little bit in that month. 2 goals there, a goal there. Yeah, it's and then we finished pretty poorly as well, just winning 1 of our last 5. So it looks like when we were on a run, we sort of got in a bit of a rut. So a couple of games without a win, and that's quickly turned into 4 or 5. Yeah, overall, that's the tactic. That was the results. Hopefully you'll take, if you're managing Leeds or if you're looking at Leeds players to buy, you'll be able to take something from this video. But that's our second tactic test done. We've now done Chelsea and Leeds, and we'll hopefully have the next one up very soon. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you see and you'll want to keep an eye out for those next tactic videos, please hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any specific teams you want me to look at, if there's any teams that you're struggling with, or any players and you want me to have a look at them and do one of these creator tactic series for that specific team. Maybe it's even the team that you support. Just let me know and I will try and find the time to fit it in. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.